Hello, my name's Naomi, and this is Harley, my mutt and my muse. I'm a solution-focused hypnotherapist. And no, before you ask, I cannot make you dance like a chicken. Solution-focused hypnotherapy is a fairly new therapy. It's integrative. This means it draws from all the very best and latest techniques and theories used in CBT, NLP, evolutionary psychology, neuroscience, and of course clinical hypnotherapy. Now, I could tell you about how and why it works, but the main point I want to bring here today is what's at the heart of that therapy. It's about the relationship between our mind and our bodies. Fundamentally, how we think affects how we feel, and how we feel affects how our body reacts. Think about it. If a wolf were to walk into the room with you right now, your fight, flight or freeze survival instinct would kick in. Your brain would pick up that you were under threat. You would instantly feel fear. Your brain would kick out all those chemicals to raise your heart rate, increase your breathing, and you would get ready to fight or run like hell. And to be honest, you'd probably run. You certainly wouldn't throw at a ball or give it a stroke. That reaction is completely correct in that situation. But what happens if we saw a dog? Most of us don't have the same reaction. Why? Because we've learnt that dogs are friendly, dogs are safe, and that wolves are wild and a threat to us. It's a learned behaviour. So if we put this into the context of real life, those walls at our door that threaten us are things like unpaid bills, toxic relationships, online bullies, finding a job. And our fight, flight, freeze response has become anger, anxiety, and depression. You see, our problem is we're born human. We are intelligent, we have intellectual thought, well, most of us, and the ability to imagine the future and remember the past. So where an animal like a rabbit may get chased by a wolf in the wild, it would run away. But then it would shake it off and continue munching on its grass. As humans, if we were to encounter a wolf, we would also run. However, afterwards, we would go over the encounter again and again in our minds, stressing ourselves out by thinking about what might have happened if we hadn't gotten away. And every rock, shadow or movement would make us think that it could be the wolf, back to finish us off. So in order to tackle this, I explain to my clients how their brains work. I explain that we have two brains, the primitive brain known as the limbic system where we respond with anger, depression or anxiety, and our intellectual brain, where we have rational, logical and innovative thought. These two brains constantly conflict with each other, and whichever one wins out will determine how we respond in a crisis. So when a client comes to me, it's usually because they're stuck in their limbic system. It's running the show. They're stuck reacting in a world where they feel under constant threat. Solution-focused hypnotherapy helps clients rewire their brains to think differently and thus respond differently. It takes practice and it does take understanding, but it's a bit like learning to drive. When you first got into a car, I imagine every gear change and indication took lots of thought and effort. But now, you just do it without thinking. My clients are stuck reacting negatively and automatically going into their limbic systems. Instead, they need to learn to use their intellectual brains. And that eventually will become an automatic behaviour. And we do this by repeating positive thoughts, positive actions and positive interactions, because we know that these things encourage our brains to produce reward chemicals such as dopamine, which encourage us to repeat that behaviour. So there you have it. That's a really brief explanation about how solution-focused hypnotherapy works. If you'd like to find out more, check out my website at www.brighterdayhypnotherapy.co.uk, and why not check out my second video? It's explaining my Kickstarter campaign and how I'm writing a book to help kids understand their brains better.